angles. Everywhere, every challenge, every hero, every change. Let's start the conversation on the daily debate. I'm Tagreed Hussein on the Debate Thursdays, bringing you news analysis you want to watch.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader and today we'll be focusing on the inspection of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Sunday for the development contracts and the development projects here in the country, and more specifically the new administrative capital on Friday morning, as well as the tunnels beneath the Suez Canal, the tunnels that are linking Sinai to other parts of Egypt, mainly Sharqiya, Ismailiya and Port Said. The tunnels that are very important and will be inaugurated very soon by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. We'll be having the top story for today, which is the inauguration of President al-Sisi of the ICT 2018 here in Cairo, another part of the development of the country, but on the technological aspect. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated the 22nd round of the Cairo International Exhibition and Conference on the Telecommunication and the Information Technology, the ICT 2018. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and the Planning Minister Hala Al-Said attended the exhibition held at the Egypt International Exhibition Center under the slogan of Driving Transformation, as the exhibition will be running until November the 28th. This year's edition of the exhibition is focusing on the issue of the digital transformation in light of the government's plans for mechanizing all the services extended to the public, as the government is keen on upgrading all the state sectors using the modern technology. More than 500 international and local companies, along with the startups, are participating in the ICT 2018. And to be having more information on the ICT 2018 and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's inauguration of it on Sunday, I'm honored to be having with me over the phone Dr. Osama Mustafa, the ICT expert. Thank you very much for being with us today on the Daily Debate. Dr. Osama Mustafa, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Yes, Dr. Osama, thank you very much for being with us today on the Daily Debate. What is the significance of inaugurating and holding the ICT 2018 here in Egypt, and more specifically the inauguration of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to it?
Well, this is a very well-known conference that happens every year in Egypt, and lots of companies are targeting to enter the market here in Egypt. This is why we have a very large presence of foreign companies as well as Egyptians. And this today was a great push from the president himself to attend and have the opening ceremony. Because we're sure that most of the world are looking to us as a very promising place for investment, especially in technology. So this is delivering a very great message to the world that we have focusing and interest from the president himself.
Yes, how about the speech of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi today? How did you read it?
Well, I saw four topics specifically that he was talking about. Number one was the localization of technology, which is, for example, we have a giant company like Samsung are opening their factories here in Egypt. So localization means that we will soon have made in Egypt technology products, computers, laptops, cell phones. Moreover, that the working capital will be pushing the capital from Egypt here, and we can export that to Africa. This is the gate. We are the gate to Africa. And number two was the digital transformation, as you have said, transforming all the paperwork from the manual process to electronic process, including payment, of course. And this is why beginning of 2019, we'll have most of the government payment will be processed through electronic systems, mobile phones and wallets, mobile wallets that already started a few months ago. Number three was he talked also about the training academy, which will be starting soon, educating Egyptians, leaders on technology and other topics. Of course, technology will be one of them. The fourth one was the Africa initiative for companies to develop games and mobile apps. This is a competition through all of Africa.
Yes, Dr. Osama, the digital transformation, as you said, one of the main topics tackled by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi during the speech and upon inaugurating the ICT 2018. How do you see the importance of digital transformation for the Egyptian citizens by the beginning of 2019?
Well, the digital transformation will benefit all of us from, number one, of course, eliminating the corruptions. There will be almost zero corruptions on the transactions. Number two is the bureaucracy itself. Instead of you spend 4 or 5 days to deal with one transaction, you can do it in 3 minutes. So it is very, very important to us, and we are actually late behind other countries, but we can catch up soon within the next 1 or 2 years.
Yes, Dr. Osama Mustafa, the ICT expert, thank you very much for being with us today on the Daily Debate.
Thank you, sir.
And that was the main story, and the top story for tonight is the inauguration of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi of the ICT 2018 here in Cairo. Another inspection or another upcoming inauguration happened. Inspection for the new administrative capital took place on Friday, and the new Suez Canal and the tunnels beneath the Suez Canal linking between Ismailiyah, Port Said and Sinai were inspected by President al-Sisi on Friday. So let's see a report about it.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi toured the new administrative capital on Friday morning, as well as tunnels under construction on the Suez Canal. According to a brief statement by the presidential spokesman Bassam Radi, President al-Sisi was inspecting the latest updates at both sides. The new capital, al-Sisi also toured Al-Fattah al-Ali Mosque, which is described as one of the biggest ones across the country. He also toured the Nativity of Christ Cathedral. Noteworthy, the under consortium capital announced in March 2015 is part of the government's plan to expand urban areas to deal with the country's rapid population growth rate and improve the nation's infrastructure. Located some 40 kilometers east of Cairo, the new city is intended to draw a population of 7 million people in its first phase. It is worth mentioning that in December 2017, President al-Sisi inaugurated several development projects in the East Suez Canal Development Zone in northern Ismailiyah, including tunnels to facilitate commercial and civilian access to Sinai and the East Suez Canal Development Zone. The East Suez Canal Development Project, which is part of the larger Suez Canal Development Plan, was launched in 2015. The project aims to develop major residential and industrial centers in the governorates of Ismailia. President el-Sisi met with Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, Prime Minister, and Dr. Amr Talat, Minister of Communication and Information Technology. Ambassador Bassam Radi said that the meeting handled the plan drawn by the Ministry of Communication and IT to establish and upgrade the digital system in the new administrative capital. The Premier and the Minister of Communication also updated President el-Sisi on a plan to introduce the digital government and training staff of the Ministry of Communications. President el-Sisi stressed that communication sector should be on the top of the priorities of the government plans as it has a vital and principal role in economic and societal development.
لسه بدري قوي ان احنا نقول حققنا اللي احنا فيه ده اول خطوة لبناء دولة حديثة.
Together we make change.
لا يمكن هنقدم على موضوع احنا مش مستعدين له وجاهزين له من كافة الوجوه. البلد تنبض بالحياة وبالتالي احنا كمان لازم أولوياتنا كلها تنبض بالحياة.
Success stories all over Egypt.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, to be focusing today on the inspection tour of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to the new administrative capital and the Suez Canal development access and the tunnels beneath the Suez Canal linking Sinai with different parts of Egypt. Today, I'm honored to be having with me in the studio Dr. Ali Mas'ud, the Dean of Faculty of Politics and Economics. Thank you very much for being with us today, Dr. Ali.
You're welcome.
And Dr. Adil Anwar, the Facade Consultant at the Administrative Capital for Urban Development. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Dr. Ali, if we can start with the significance, with the importance of the new administrative capital and the tunnels beneath the Suez Canal. How do you see them?
Well, first of all, it is actually both projects or both many projects and mega projects lies under the vision of development Egypt of sustainable development 2030. So now, honestly, Egypt is doing everything and all infrastructure for being a big economist, large economist, and big nations and developed nations. So when it comes to, for instance, for administrative capital, all of us know the problem with Cairo, with all of the slums area. So our government actually have this strategy to deal with the slum areas, which we did a huge improvement in dealing with the slum areas, and now we are announcing that in a few years we are gonna be without the slum areas in Cairo, which is categorized to be a dangerous areas. Okay.
Yes.
But at the same time, actually, Egypt is moving toward being a very developed nation and doing all the infrastructure that the project that needed to be developed country. There's needs for new administrative capital that is going to be very, very important project. Why? Why? When you talk about a new administrative capital, a new city, that it is large as Singapore, it is more than 6 times of Paris.
Yes.
It is almost 50% of London. So you are talking about a huge and a mega project that is going to be very well designed and very well planned. So this is the beauty about it. So you're having a huge city that's very, very well planned, that is going to be the new face for Egypt. It's going to be a very good image for the new Egypt that we are moving to. Regarding the second major project, that the tunnels, the 4 tunnels under Suez Canal.
Yes.
Well, now Egypt have been doing impressive job in dealing with a terror group in Sinai, and we almost done with that. We almost done with more than 90% of the terror group. There was just we dealt with them very well, very nicely. So now the second stage of doing that, we cannot just leave Sinai like the way it is now. In order to defend Sinai, now we defend Sinai by plot. The second phase is how to defend Sinai by rivers. So in order to develop Sinai, first of all, you really have to reduce the transaction cost from Sinai to the valley,
Yes.
the other part of Egypt.
The
And
transportation.
The transportation.
Yes.
The transportation is a big part of the transaction cost.
Yes, if we can focus on the new administrative capital, how do you see the importance of it? Why do you think Egypt is building a new capital?
First of all, the new capital it's a major project. If you want to develop the service, your service regarding the governmental service, you had to change environment. By changing the environment means that you build a nice building design, nice landscaping, nice working area, and a nice sustainable buildings. All of these servicing the same target, which is providing a good service or a better service than what we have now.
Yes.
The problem is not in the number of employees, because we know that we are overstaffed, but the problem is the quality of the service you receive from the government when you are dealing with them. So by doing this, you cannot convince the people sitting in crowded space and hot and unpleasant working area, while you are asking for a quality of service. You have to provide this first. So the new capital city, they said the first step is toward providing such service, that quality service, by doing a very nice building, sustainable approach done by prestigious consultancy firm, and they are doing more than fine regarding my scope of work regarding the facade engineering and sustainability for the building. And that was the startup which we should start with. And I believe that the quality of the service which we are going to receive from any governmental ministers, that will be dramatically changed when they transfer there. So that's what I'm saying, that you have to create the proper environment for the employees, and then you are asked them to give us the proper service which we are expecting from them. So that was one, and actually the ICCT was one of them, is to serve this by the electronics, the communication, which is the major issue in
the conference which was inaugurated today.
That's what part servicing the same aim was to provide a new administration building, fully functioning and properly functioning.
So we will be having a smart capital.
Yes, yes.
How this is different than what we are working with right now?
Yes, totally different. The areas is dramatically changed. There's different teams even in the building. The building are nice allocated, and there's a nice landscaping there. Everything is calculated, from the acoustic performance, from the optical performance, from all the environmental parameters are considered during the scan design for all the consultants. Being a facade consultant, I already introduced a few projects, and we are consultants for few projects there. So all of them are coordinated together, and that's what good issue is, that you don't have a differentiation between different ministers or different designers. So actually it is a nice project, properly managed by the military and by the government as well, and as well by the contractors, which also the second hand of the development.
Yes, speaking of the other project, the Suez Canal, the new Suez Canal, and the development access and the tunnels linking, as you said, Dr., Egypt with the rest of Sinai, or Sinai with the rest of Egypt. You were talking about the transportation, lowering the cost of driving to and from Sinai. How do you see the importance of that?
Well, it is very important. In average now, you know, for all of what the situations in Sinai now, it takes people to cross the other side around 5 days. Actually, it could go for the 5 days. If it is in normal times, it's going to take an average 5 hours to go to the other side, which it is really long. So if you reduce this time to 10 to 20 minutes only to be in Sinai, this is very important. This is how can you move production factors from the delta or the wadi to Sinai. Not only that, Sinai has lots of potentials in industry, but in order to improve all this industry and develop this industry, you need lots of raw materials from the wadi. You need also workers and human beings to move there.
Yes.
Which is going to be really reducing the transportation time to 10 to 20 minutes is going to make a huge difference. Not only that, you are talking about around 150,000 faddans is going to be actually activated there, and so when you have all this amount of a new land in Sinai to be ready for cultivating actually fruits and vegetables, then you cannot just let it there. You have to move it to the valley as soon as you can. So reducing the amount of time, or the amount of time that it comes from Sinai to the Delta, is gonna actually have a huge impact, a positive impact in developing Sinai in this area. Also, you have a huge amount of projects, or number of projects regarding education projects, for instance, in Sinai. So in order this project to be successful, well, you need also to have access for Sinai and vice versa in a few minutes. So this is really seriously needed. Now Sinai, by connecting it to the valley through these 4 tunnels, making Sinai is completely adjusting and very, very close part to the other part of Egypt.
Yes, how do you see the amount of investments that are being invested by Egypt, by the government, in the Suez Canal development access, in the tunnels beneath the Suez Canal and the new administrative capital? How do you think that those investments are reflecting positively on the Egyptian economy and not vice versa?
Actually, you had to spend to gain. This is a very basic concept. You had to spend, you had to make the infrastructure, the proper infrastructure, before you think about that. We were lacking of electricity. If you can remember, 5 years ago, we had a serious problem regarding the electricity shortage. Now we have excessive, and we are intending to export. Regarding the exploration of the natural gas, now we were suffering few years ago. Now we have satisfied, and we tend to export, and that's all of these factors, all of these investments are serving the same target, which is the development of the country. We have been seriously lacking of transportation in all aspects. Regarding the traffics, there is a huge investment done in the roads by extending new branches and widening the roads and making it to the international standards, and all of these issues. This one issue. The second is the electricity, as we said, it's now being serving more than our capacity. To make any development, you had to make sure that you have the resources. The resources is coming from electricity, the resources coming from communication, a proper communication, better than what we have now. Flow of traffic. This is one of the issue. Accessibility by airplanes. Now we have a lot of airplanes, a lot of airports done local, very small but very effective, military and actually domestic as well. So all of these together are making the accessibility to any part of Egypt is more feasible than what we have. All of these serving the development at the end.
Yes, and speaking of the Suez Canal development access or the economic zone, it would be having 187 different projects, according to Admiral Moheb Mamish. How do you see this reflecting on the Egyptian economy in general?
Well, first of all, let me tell you, go back a little bit regarding the infrastructure that we invested in.
Yes.
For sure, in order to develop an area or to develop a country, the first thing you really have to done was infrastructure. Without infrastructure, exactly, like we said, without electricity, without roads, without all the infrastructure, you cannot have investment.
Yes.
So all what we did during the last 3 years actually is solving most of the problem related to infrastructure. The electricity problem was a huge problem. And can you imagine that in 3 years only, we add 12 times as much as the high dam actually generated electricity just in 3 years.
In 3 years.
So we have, in last 4 years, we built around 7,000 kilometers of roads. So this is infrastructure. We moved in road standards from 118 to now 73. So we are moving so much. Going back to the Suez Canal zone, well, this is a huge project. It is not only about installing some manufacturers there on industrial zone. It is about transferring technology. When you talk about the first Russian industrial zone out of Russia is going to be in this area. You are talking about already Tida-1, the Chinese industrial zone is working in L'Ain al-Sukhna there, and now it is going to get into Tida-2. You are going to talk about this area is going to be the gate for all this industry to Africa.
Yes.
So not only in terms of economics, for sure it is going to having a huge impact in export, in employment, in GDP, gross domestic product, which is the product that we're producing, the amount of products, goods and services we are delivering. But what I really like about that, how can you really move technology, transfer technology from developed nations into our nation to be developed soon? So this is, I can see, this is the most qualified zone that for technology transfer, that because it has all requirements for technology transfer.
Yes, and speaking of technology, what about the definition of the smart housing projects? How do you see this changing the face of urban communities in the country?
Okay, usually we take the governmental building as a model to guide all the developers, the other developers to follow. For instance, if we made a building with a bad skin out, so that will be a bad model for any developer to follow up.
Yes.
But if you made the government, most of the governmental buildings are done according to the international standard, highest international standard. This gives a good model to other developers to follow. So what we are saying that you are building a new development, you are setting a new criteria, a new benchmark for the quality, starting by the governmental building, and then after starting from that, all the developers should follow such a standard. So we are saying that yes, if we are providing a smart facades and sustainable buildings and keen to make to minimize the electricity consumption on all of these buildings and all other factors, and to grasp the fresh air and grasp the light to the buildings, and doing all of that in a very nice environment, then you are transferring the benchmark of the quality for the developers. So we believe that usually when you want to make something as a landmark, you should start by the governmental building as a start, and then everybody will follow. Yes, everybody will follow.
Speaking of the other projects, the tunnels beneath the Suez Canal linking the rest of Egypt to Sinai, how do you see the importance of that besides the Shahid Ahmed Hamdi or the Martyr Ahmed Hamdi tunnel that is working right now?
Everybody went through the Shahid Ahmed. We suffer a lot of time, we suffer a lot of traffic jam, the road quality wasn't that good, and it has a major impact even on the touristic villages on Ras Sadr.
Yes.
We know all that. But by providing 4 tunnels, we encourage to develop more touristic villages with higher quality standards, and that one issue to serve the touristic sector. But the Sinai have been ignored for a lot of decades because of the security issues and other factors. So. If you have a good communication channel using traffic roads, using the airplanes, using the airports there, or using other good communication, I believe that all of this will serve the development, to speed up the development in Sinai. So the tunnel is one, using the traffic, the airport will serving the air, and then communication serving everybody. So all of them are serving to make a nice development, speed and neat development in Sinai.
Yes, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli also spoke about the 4th generation cities across Egypt in several governorates. One of them is the new administrative capital, another one is the new Alamein city and the new Mansoura city.
Yes.
How do you see the term of the 4th generation cities and the importance of it?
Well, actually, the government is setting the benchmark, like Dr. Adil said, in various areas.
Yes.
So it is not only concentrating only in Cairo region or the Suez Canal region, which the mistake actually have been done before, that concentrating only in Alexandria region and in Suez Canal region in development process in Egypt. And now the government is taking and is scaling up this. So we're expecting that more than 15 smart cities going to be through all Egypt, not only this part. So this is just one phase and one stage. We expect these smart cities to be also in Upper Egypt, for sure, that we will have share of that. So government now, our government is looking for all Egypt geographical areas, not only in this Cairo and Alexandria region. So the importance also of that, this is going to be a very good focal point to spread development around this city. Why? Because you are going to attract very qualified people to work in there, to have job opportunities for there. You know, can you imagine when you have these smart cities in Upper Egypt? So all the qualified people that instead of going here and moving to Cairo, moving to Alex, they will have job opportunities. So I really can say it that we are not going to hold in only this 4. I expect that we will have in average around,
more than 10
I expect
15
it's going to be
cities.
around 15.
Yes, and speaking
cities,
of technology and the 4th generation cities and the smart homes, today President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurated the ICT 2018. To be speaking more about the digital transformation, I'm honored to be having with me over the phone Taghreed Hussain, the Nile International Senior Correspondent. Taghreed, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Nadir. Thank you so much, and a very good evening to your dear guests.
Good evening to you too. Taghreed, if we can speak about the inauguration of President al-Sisi to the ICT and the concept of digital transformation and, of course, the slogan of driving transformation in the country through technology. How did that go?
Yes, definitely, Ahmed, and it's co-linked to the topic of debate tonight. While we see ICT is transforming the world today through creative ideas, through concepts and platforms, the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi continues to support the ICT sector, which is key to economic development. And this event is really a unique blend of the government, the business, the academia, the users from the different important domains. His Excellency had inaugurated the 22nd round of Cairo International Exhibition and Conference on Telecommunication and Information Technology. And as you see, this year's edition is focusing on the issue of digital transformation. And this comes in light of the government's plans for mechanizing all these services extended to the public. So the government is keen on upgrading all the state sectors using modern technology. You find nearly 500 international and local companies, along with the startups, are participating in ICT 2018. So along the past 21 years, Cairo ICT has been hovering around those concepts of transformation and, however, leading to the concept through multiple ways today. And as we could see, the event turned to be a regional and an international one. And His Excellency, the President, talked in his speech about the links of supporting information technology and communication to development. His Excellency, President al-Sisi, said that the communication and information technology sector has become a key element in supporting the state's developmental plans and a locomotive of building a competitive and diverse economy that depends on innovation and knowledge. The topic you're discussing today concerning the new administrative capital and also the tunnels is part of this sense of transformation that we're talking about. The President said that Egypt has given great attention to that sector with the main aim of developing and updating communication infrastructure and also establishing smart cities. And he referred to the smart cities that Egypt is establishing today and enabling all the citizens to use the digital services. The President said that Egypt is keen on spreading this sense of awareness of the importance of digitalization that would help an environment that would encourage the youth to definitely make use of their skills and their potential to enhance the industry and also the design of electronics. And he pointed out to the distinctive efforts and creative ideas reflected in the ongoing projects like the new administrative capital and the tunnels implemented through cooperation and coordination among the various ministries and the bodies concerned. Ahmed.
Yes, Taghreed Hussain, the Nile TV International Senior Correspondent. Thank you very much for being with us today on the Daily Debate, for your input. And if we can switch to Dr. Adel, how do you see what Taghreed said right now about the ties, about the relationship between development and the information technology at the same time during the speech of President al-Sisi, as he said today?
This is actually, it's a direct relationship. Actually, you cannot achieve any development unless you have communication, proper communication. So most of the development, if you have a development, you have to make sure that the communication as well is serving with the same quality. So yes, we totally agree with what she said about being served by a high quality communication services is a mandatory for any development, for any successful development.
Yes, the point of attracting investors through the new administrative capital, through the tunnels, through the Suez Canal development access. How do you see the process going hand in hand to be investing in the country and attracting more investments from outside the country or foreign direct investments?
Okay, first of all, let me talk also about, before we get into that, the importance of technology.
Yes.
In communication. It is actually the importance of that for investment comes out from improving the business environment. By moving to digital and electronic government procedures that we are moving toward now, this is going to make the business environment is much friendly and more friendly for investors, reducing time is spending, reducing the number of procedures and making the decisions very fast. So it's going to be in very good direction in investment. Okay, regarding the foreign direct investment, first of all, when you talk about foreign direct investment, when it comes to technological sectors and when it comes to industry sector, this is going to create value added, a huge value added. And this is the sectors where you can transfer technology from advanced economies into our countries. So this is very important. When you talk about attracting foreign direct investment into the Suez Canal zone, well, you have all basics, all infrastructures and basic things to attract this investors to come and invest in Egypt, especially in this area. Especially it has lots of potentials. You are creating a huge logistics area in this area, which means actually it's going to serve to serve all this area and the surrounding area and enhancing the trade. You are going to be actually this area is going to be the base, a take of the Egyptian economy actually, and this is the gate is going to be for African nations and other Arab nations as well.
Yes, previously President Al-Sisi also said what Dr. Ali was saying before the phone with Tagreed is that we should be having dozens of new smart cities. We should be having dozens of new smart homes. That was the words of President Al-Sisi. How do you see the reflection of those words on the Egyptian citizens in terms of ambitions?
Yeah, of course. The vision is always very important. If you have a president just like our President Sisi with a vision of such development and all the things, it leads us all the others to follow. But this is the main issue. If you have a vision that to make all the services coming electronically, which is save time and save money and to avoid all the corruptions ways which we all suffer and we know, and doing all of these services electronically, so that's an issue. But the main issue, if you have a communication but you don't have the people, the skill to use the technology, that's another issue. They have the training. We have to make sure that the training program is working parallel to, because once you finish the project, you have to fill it by a fully equipped employee working with using properly such technology, because
Yes.
we have been a lot of unpleasant experience for providing a technology, a huge technology and a very updated technology at the cutting edge, but actually the users are not to that extent, so we couldn't notice as a citizen, we couldn't notice that such improvement reflected on a normal citizen. That's why. So we're saying that technology is one issue, is one hand.
Yes.
The infrastructure serving the technology to properly communicate it, that's another issue. And then the qualification or training the employees or the staff, the old staff, to use that technology properly. And then the last thing is to provide a maintenance schedule for keeping these services working properly for the longer time as we are planning to.
Yes.
So it's an issue, it's a mixed issue.
Yes. And we'll be still speaking about the new administrative capital, but right now we'll be going straight away to another report of Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli inspecting the financial and the business district in the new administrative capital. So let's see it.
الرئيس دكتور مصطفى مدبولي on Saturday inspected a number of projects being implemented in Cairo eastern cities, including the site of the financial and business district in the new administrative capital. The visit comes while the Chinese CSCEC company has started its construction works of the place in cooperation with Egyptian companies. In statements on the sidelines of the visit, the Premier said that the project includes 20 towers and skyscrapers. He added that the project is one of the major joint ventures between Egypt and China that offer thousands of jobs. Officials in charge of implementing the project briefed Madbouli on the progress of the project, explaining that up to 90 centimeters of digging operations have been finalized. The new capital will be home to all Egyptians from all walks of life, as Egypt needs a second and third generation of those new cities to ensure development is done in a planned and right way. The smart capital is intended to offer quality of life for all Egyptians.
الوحيدة اللي واقفة على حيلها انتوا، قد يكون في أخطاء. قلت لكم المشكلة كبيرة، والمشكلة دي أنا مش هقدر عليها لوحدي، لكن نقدر عليها كلنا. دوري عملته، بس دوركم انتوا دلوقتي. لما طلبتوني لقيتوني، ولم أبخل عليكم بحياتي. جه الدور عليكم وانتوا وعدتوني انكم هتقفوا جنبي. الإصلاح بياخد وقت طويل، ولازم نعترف إن ال6 سنين اللي فاتوا إن إحنا دولة ظروفها صعبة. تحيا مصر مش بالكلام.
مفيش أي حل تاني غير إن إحنا نشتغل.
إن شاء الله في 18 هسلمكم 1350 مشروع.
شايفة مستقبل أولادي ومستقبل أجيال كتيرة جاية في مصر.
نقدر نعمل أكتر من كده، نقدر نجتهد، نقدر نعمل حاجات كتير في أرضنا.
ما تتخلوش عن بالكم، أنا اخترت الطريق الصعب. أنتوا اللي هتحددوا مصير مستقبل مصر بقوة شبابها.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate. If we can switch the focus from the urban development, from the Suez Canal, from the new administrative capital to the United Nations report that said that Egypt is the fastest growing tourist destination in the past year, regarding the developments that we had seen here in the country in the past 4 or 5 years. Do you think that this has to do with the tourism numbers increasing in the past 4 or 5 years?
Well, it is not only regarding the number of tourism regarding to that coming to Egypt, but also about what service actually that they provided to serve them. One thing that it changed a lot in this sector is the roads. That's actually when you build the new roads for serving some of historical places that you are attracting people to them. In many areas in Egypt we have a very beautiful historical destinations, but because of the quality of road, these places were not actually visited so much. Also, we have a new project, a major project in tourism actually. For instance, we have in Sohaj one of the museum of Sohaj that is serving all over Egypt, not only the region of Sohaj. Okay.
Yes.
Now, so this attracting lots of tourism now into Sohaj. Getting into beside that, the new tourism, the new actually historical development, historical places development, you are going to create a huge area. It could be similar to Luxor. So we are moving in providing not only tourism but all sectors by the needs, its basic needs in order to be developed. So this is very, very important, and why we're moving to this destination.
Yes, speaking of the youth of Egypt, how do you see the mentality of the Egyptian youth when they see those developments in the terms of the new administrative capital, the Suez Canal development access, the new cities all over the country. How do you think that this encourages them to be part of the development process?
Unfortunately, let's say the media is not serving, are not showing what is happening actually in reality for these projects.
Yes.
There is a lack of exposure to such projects and to such achievement done on the. So most of the people saying that it's why should we pay for the new capital city while we are suffering from other issues? You cannot, as our President Sisi just said, we took the tough way. The tough way is to develop, to set an establishment, a very well established setup, and after that, once it is finished, everybody will be serving a higher quality than what we have now. The problem is that there's not that much exposure to such programs and such construction and to such effort spent already for that. But most of the people say that we are spending a lot of money in the new capital city. Why should we have it? There is nobody explaining to them how these projects will have a huge impact on the new citizen or the ordinary citizens living there. You have to make sure that the roads are serving you. Yes, everybody notices roads because we are driving on it, so everybody sees the huge difference there. But he don't know what will be the impact of the new capital city. We have already ministers, so why should we shift to a far away buildings? So nobody explained to them the criteria have been set for the whole development for the whole country. Now it's not only concentrated, as Dr. Ali said, that's not only concentrated on Cairo or Giza. Now it became split in all over the country. And by making a nice network through the new airports, which is done recently now, and by increasing the quality of the roads and increasing the traffic moving, shifting the traffic jams, the location, moving the high crowded areas to another areas, all of this will be serving the quality of life for a normal citizen. So all of this is coming together, but most of the people don't. Let's say, at least they don't recognize how much the effort is spent for doing that, and they haven't seen the fruits yet. We are just now in the planting era. We are planting, but yes, you cannot plant and get the fruits at the same time. You had to be patient till it grows, and then you are asked for the quality of the fruits which we are expecting from our projects.
Yes, and hopefully we will be reaping the fruits very soon, Dr. Adil.
Very soon, yes.
Yes, the Facade consultant at the Administrative Capital for Urban Development. Thank you very much for being with us today on the Daily Debate.
Thank you, sir.
And Dr. Ali Mas'ud, the Dean of Faculty of Politics and Economics, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Ahmed.
And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.